new music coming your way. Before we get into it, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know there's a lot of people, as I said, you are a new artist. There's a lot of people that don't know anything about you, and I'm pretty sure they're dying to know, what is Skye all about?
Well, Skye is a young girl that played alongside of the rocks and beaches in the Nassau town. I grew up here, and I grew up around music, and of all genres. Not too much of gospel, but I grew up in the church, but I started to pursue this singing career after life threw some hard
Mm-hmm.
beep out my way.
I
So it
gotcha.
came out from hurt, disappointment. So I guess that bring it out.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm pursuing it. I'm into bringing something different with all the sounds, different sounds, and not just sticking to one sound.
Mm-hmm.
So reggae, whatever that is for you, I'm gonna jump in that.
Okay.
So I'm bringing music from the depths of my heart. If it's a situation I'm going through, something from last year, and it came up like, damn, that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to touch bases on everybody's situation.
Now, for me, it sounded almost like you were trying to make sure that we knew that you're not strictly gospel. Does that
No.
mean that your music has a negative vibe going on? What type of vibe does it have?
Well, I grew up in the church, and they tried to stick me in that. But I would say I'm not gospel because life happens.
Mm-hmm.
People in the church is going through life, and you can't be fake. You
Mm-hmm.
have to tell people, I went through this, and that beep hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So it might have a little, slight language off here and there,
But
but
your
it's
music is real.
it's real.
It's coming from the heart.
Yeah,
It's
that's what it's
relatable.
basically about. I don't care about who gets offended.
Mm-hmm.
It's suitable for everybody.
You're speaking your truth.
Yeah.
All right. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that so much. Now, when you say with the church, I actually went through that too. Those of you that don't know, I'm also a vocalist. And
Okay.
I personally didn't go through it. I don't think I cared as much. No offense. But it was like you had to choose between singing in the church
Mhm.
or singing
Yep.
in general. Now, most
Yep.
of the locations where I sang, it was pretty family oriented. So
Okay.
you would assume the church people would be there too. You see?
Exactly.
So, church people, if you're listening, I want to let you know right now, she has nothing but positive music. Okay.
Yeah.
So, should be no reason why she has to choose. Even Jesus said, hey, I'm not just going to go hanging around the Christians. You know
Oh.
what I mean? It's a lot of work that needs to be done, and music is definitely the healing. She has positive music. So, even though you got the Megan Thee Stallion going on out there, she is combating you guys with some positive stuff. Now tell me, I know you said you grew up in music, but when did you start doing the writing and the recording?
I was always writing.
Wow.
From a child, I was always writing, writing books, writing plays, writing songs, but not really taking it serious. I'm just writing because I guess that's part of my gift. But I find myself writing. I still have the books from when I was in primary school.
Oh wow.
So I dive into those things and pull it out. But most of the music out now is coming from the hurt from church.
Mm.
Most of what's playing is what brought it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because you went to church to look for solace, and you
got
find
your
out
money.
that you ain't in the clique.
Yeah.
So I just want you to sing this gospel thing. And if you ain't singing gospel about Jesus, 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 come on. You
Mhm.
got to realize he hang out with the whores. He
Mhm.
healed the whores. He been
Mhm.
in the trunk. Come on, man.
Mhm.
So, that pulled it out. After I didn't get love from the church,
Mhm.
where else I could have go but to other,
Mhm.
venues. So, but it's mostly positive to uplift, not to like, but no big bedroom bully now.
Okay. Okay.
Get, vibe to it, chilling out with your wine.
Okay.
Sort, like
Okay.
that.
So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Skye in the building, and Skye is one of the new positive and oh so vibrant artists on the street. Now, of course, you are not only doing studio work, you're also doing live band music, right? Live band performances.
I am.
So how long have you been doing the live band?
Well, we been doing this for a couple months now.
Okay, so you're still new to
I'm
live
still
performances.
new to live performances.
Okay, you're not shy
like
at all
in
today,
a band, like collectively.
Okay.
But I was always performing, but now I'm in a community.
Mhm.
Trying that out.
Okay.
I'm loving it so far.
Okay, and I know you have one of your band members here, Mr.
Yes, I
Rufus
do.
Emmanuel Extraordinaire.
Yes. One of the
I'm
best,
hanging
one
in,
of the
man. Hanging
best.
in. It's good to have you here as well. Now, I know that you are the mastermind behind the band. How did you find this beautiful woman right here?
Okay, well, I have another band member, and her and I spoke. We spoke about putting the band together and finding the right persons
Mm-hmm.
because it takes more than talent to have a band.
Mm-hmm.
Characters have to come together. The social intelligence aspect has to be there. Persons have to have the passion for the vision where the band is going.
Mm-hmm.
So the first person who I spoke to, as her and I began to speak, she said, "Oh my God, we got to get my friend." I said, "Friend?" I said, "Who's this friend?" "Man, you got to meet her. She is so talented. She is so passionate." And
Oh.
right at that very meeting,
Mhm.
she called her on her cell phone in my presence. Said, "Listen, I met this guy. I want you to meet this guy. He's passionate about music. He has a vision about for young artists. He has an entertainment company, a film production company, and he's very experienced in terms of music arranging and composing." And at that very same meeting I had with her, she came to that meeting as well. We
Mhm.
waited on her.
Wow.
So we sat down. We was at Starbucks, Harbor Bay Plaza, and we sat down and I started to share my vision because the film production company is called Exodus Production Company.
Mhm.
And Melody, we know Exodus is a movement from captivity into freedom. I believe in the Bahamas, we don't have an entertainment industry. We don't have a proper film production industry. The musicians in the Bahamas reach a certain point, but then there's a limit. My goal is to cause musicians, artists, and entertainers to evolve into the most outstanding version of their best authentic selves.
Mhm.
We have not created that forum, that support system behind our musicians and entertainers for that to happen. And that is what I am passionate about. Melody, you and I have worked together in the past.
Yes.
You were one of my singers.
We still work together.
Oh,
Don't
we
mind
still
him
work
here.
together.
He didn't call me recently, but that's
Right.
still my boss. All right
So,
then.
so Melody,
All right.
Melody, I believe that you can testify to the impact I've had in your life.
Mhm.
Because I believe when I first met you were 17 or 19.
I was about
Yeah, you was about 17 or 19. Yes.
After Islanders.
And I can remember you coming into the band and we doing voice training and building the repertoire. So you are a first witness of what impact can happen when you come across a person like me.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter how good you are as a singer. You need a support system. You need a band. Michael Jackson was awesome, but he still needed Quincy Jones.
Mhm.
It requires a team of persons like a body. The eye is important, the hand is important, the feet is important. So it is my goal to find aspiring artists and create an environment where they can have an opportunity to express their creativity,
Mhm.
their authenticity. And this is why I'm here today. I shut down both of my businesses just to come here to support Skye today.
Wow.
Because a lot of the artists, they need that.
Feels
They
special.
need to know that it should not have to be a fight
Mhm.
to express your authenticity. It should never have to be a fight.
Mhm.
As a country, we have an obligation to the younger generation because they were born into this world innocently. And most of them have become a product of a sleeping society. We sit back and we watch them fail. And the only thing that we want to do is punish, punish, punish,
Yeah.
punish, complain, blame the government, blame everybody else. But as a society, every child is our responsibility.
Mhm.
My neighbor's child is also my responsibility. Because if I can have a positive impact on my neighbor's child, I don't have to worry about him jumping through my window 17 years later.
Agreed.
See, these things have a long lasting effect.
Yeah.
We are all each other's responsibility.
Takes
As a
village.
nation, when one cries, all of us should cry.
I get something
When
to
one
ask you,
rejoices, all of us need to rejoice. So we have to come together as a country and help our artists. If you look in America, they support their artists. They support the artists full fledged in different countries as well.
Hold on. Let me ask you something, right?
Mhm,
Are you saying
mhm.
that as Bahamians, it's about 400,000 of us, right?
Right.
Are you saying that if I push out a song right now, it should be an obligation to every Bahamian to support me, whether they agree with what it is that I'm singing or whatever it is?
Mhm.
All right, is
Yes,
that what you're saying?
most certainly. I believe
I
that.
don't agree with that. Let me
Oh,
tell you why I don't agree
why-
with that.
why you
I
don't
think
agree?
it's our responsibility as the artist
Mhm.
to be able to connect with the
Okay.
audiences or whatever it is. We shouldn't
Okay.
have to force them. They should have a want. It's almost like you're in a club, right? What is enticing everybody else to want to join your club? You see what I mean?
I feel you.
That's how I look at it. Because I mean, I don't know if we should talk about it.
No, let's bring it on. Bring it on. This is part one.
I'm talking about
this is part one. We'll be back.
Hold on, Homeboy. Don't forget Homeboy. You was just asking me if I spoke to Homeboy, right?
Right.
Yeah, he has great music. Everybody know who I talk about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right. He has great music. I think his vibe on stage is awesome. He's a great performer, right? I know they said he's been carrying the Bahamas name on his back for a minute, you know, but I mean, when it comes down to music, the only thing that I benefit from listening to any music is the enjoyment out of it. Their success is not necessarily my success. You see, and any music that I like, I wasn't forced to like it. It wasn't like, oh my God, Katy Perry, I have to like her song. Oh my God, it's Beyonce. Beyonce got some songs I don't like. You see what I mean? So I think it's up to us as the artists to be relatable. You see, same thing with Bahamian music. They're saying Bahamian music ain't going nowhere, whatever it is, yada, yada, blah, blah. It's not accepted on the international stage, but that's not necessarily true, because you do have some Bahamian music that actually did make it. We might not own it. We might not say, you know, we're proud of, let's say, Ronnie Butler that ended up in a movie or whatever. It's one of his songs ended up in a movie, and it might have happened to other people. Same thing with like Julian Believe. So our music is actually going out there, whether we have the support of the Bahamian people or not, and that should not be something that is stunting us, depending on where you want to go. Let's say, for example, remember now, I think you know Travis Clark. Hey, Travi. I don't know if he still love me. I ain't talked to him in so long. Yeah. So Travis Clark is one of those artists that has been traveling for a minute. I think you know Travis.
I worked with him.
I think he was in China, Japan.
Hitting all those with the notes. I'm telling you, right?
Yeah,
so he's been international. So I think it's up to us. We have to believe in ourselves, because even the let's say, for example, the United States, right? Lady Gaga coming up. She wasn't appreciated. You see what I mean? But it was the fact that she believed in herself and she pushed herself. So it depends on how far you want to go.
Okay.
Which brings me to this. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I can understand where you're coming from. From that perspective, I believe that a lot of Bahamian musicians don't understand how to get success. We don't, as musicians, we have to respect our craft. You know, the lawyers would study a case for 16 hours just to make a submission that's only for 30 seconds. A lot of Bahamian musicians, you know, they drink 1 or 2 beers and then they go in the studio and call themselves artists. They don't put any ingredients into the music. So I understand what you're talking about being able to relate to people. I think that is something that persons like Ronnie Butler, Conboy Nadino, Therese Hepburn, and a lot of the older musicians, God bless their soul, they were storytellers. When you listen to Going Down Burma Road, I ain't gonna lick nobody. We used to make shoes from one person. Like Ronnie had a whole storytelling thing going on. And I think we've lost that.
Yes, we did.
We need to keep that foundation and tell stories. And as a person who has a film production company, in producing movies, one of the things that they always taught us is there's nothing more powerful than storytelling. So I think we've lost, or we've never known the process of becoming an entertainer.
I think that would be it right there. You know.
Yeah, we've lost.
Storytelling is because
the storytelling.
Yeah, you have folk stories that just get passed on generations. That traveled all over the world. And, you know what I mean? So I think that right there is awesome.
But I think if I could butt in, what he is saying, and I understand what you're saying, what makes them Beyonce, them or whatever artist, that you need people, because your music can't sell without people.
How much people in the United States?
That's true.
But how much followers she have? The full United States is not backing her.
That's
true. What I mean?
Because I particularly don't really like all of her songs. But in the Bahamas, we are struggling. I'm a struggling artist. For someone who's been singing from almost her whole life, it's a limit. They don't support you, as in if you're not singing this, or if I'm not even going to give you a chance.
I disagree with that too. Let me tell you why. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, let me tell you how I am. I am somebody that sings all genres.
All genres,
yes.
Okay.
I'm also not a cliquey person. You wouldn't say, well, Mel is only going to be here and that's that. Okay, then. So if you find that's the only thing I'm looking for right now is a location where I can sing some nice, soft, mellow stuff, you know, without people getting bored.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel as though you'll be able to find a location for whatever style you have. You just have to keep looking.
Keep looking.
You know, they say the recipe for what is the insanity is repeating the same thing over and over, right? Let me give you an example. You say you sing all genres, right? Do
Yeah.
you know of any locations where you can play rock music?
That's true.
There are locations.
Let
me give you let me give an example of a band that's similar to rock music. I don't know if they consider themselves rock, but for me, the Pineapple Down Band. Have you heard of them?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So rather than sticking to one crew, no offense, Rufus. I know she tried to steal my singer. I'm trying to steal your singer.
No,
broadening her horizons.
I don't think so.
Okay, so for me, it's just like spread yourself out a little bit, and then you'll have more opportunities come your way. You see?
When you say it like that, I agree, because you are going to have your people. Not everybody's going to gravitate to just what you're saying, so you're going to have to have that confidence. I think confidence is the way. Like, I don't care if you like it, this coming out.
Yeah, it's coming out.
That pushes you a long way.
So I got one more question for you. Then we're going to take short 5, and then we'll come right back in. Okay. So what is your main goal? How far do you plan to take your music?
I'm planning on taking my music worldwide. I would like to perform, make a platform for my music. People can come and find me, because I don't only want to do music per se. I'm also a new author of a book that stemmed from or branched from the songs that I sing, which is from church hurt mostly. So I want to open up a forum, a platform for people that's not talking about what needs to be talked about. Mm-hmm. If you understand what I'm saying, like, a lot of things is going on. A lot of things is being swept under the rug. Mm-hmm. Music ties to all kind of things, music, it just brings people together. Mm-hmm. So my long-term goal is to make a platform for people to come in. I need to go to let me type in, because I need something from that today. Mm-hmm. Let me grab a nugget or two from there. I would like to open something where people can express themselves, put their music, let's vibe, Zoom call, whatever you got is no limit. Like, let's vibe right now on a tune, bring it on that forum, on that platform. If you could write something, write that and let everybody read it. Wow. So that's my long term,
I think you're heading in the right
and
direction.
To be with the band is to make Exodus what the name is about, coming out of bondage. Yes. So I'm taking bands and Bahamian band to another level. Mm-hmm. We about making new sounds, man. And about, we used to do. No, what's new? Things are changing. Let's bring something new to the table. Let's dig in let's pull something out.
Well, I think you're off to a good start, especially with Mr. Rufus Emmanuel. Like you said, I've been off and on with him for a few years, since the age of 17 and 19, somewhere around there. And I'm telling you now, if you want somebody that is fresh, innovative, always looking for ways to, reinvent himself or reinvent the people around him or push towards the best, he is your guy. Once again, we got Rufus Emmanuel and Miss Skye. Global.
It's a pleasure being here.
Yes, thank you for having us here today.
Yeah.
We are so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I know we had to take a short 5 to stay alive, but the conversation got so juicy. The conversation got so juicy. So, Mr. Rufus Emmanuel, anything you wanted to kick it off with?
I wanted to piggyback on the point about supporting Bahamian artists and educating the young people about Bahamian music. I find it troubling that a lot of young persons, if you ask them about Ronnie Butler, they're totally lost.
Yeah.
They don't know who was Ronnie Butler.
Sad.
They don't know who was Count Bernardino. They don't know who's Therese Hepburn. They don't even know who was KB. And I wanna send condolences out to the family of Elon Moxie.
Yes.
I pray that his soul rests in peace.
Yes.
He has inspired me in many ways. But even if you call Elon Moxie, a lot of these school children don't know who he is.
Yes.
And this is where I'm talking about supporting and loving our culture. If we don't know the forefathers that started Bahamian music, and that fought people like Sweet Emily, who was out there, and Veronica Bishop, you ask some of the school children about them, they can't tell you. Well, if you call off a certain artist from a certain country, and I ain't gonna call it the country, all of the school children know them.
Yes. Yeah.
So and yes, the artists have to connect, but something is wrong in the Bahamian culture. I don't know what it is. Even in sports, you got Bahamians pulling for other countries and a Bahamian right there in the race. But we pulling for another country.
It's almost like we don't
I don't understand how persons from Caribbean countries come to the Bahamas, Melody, and they do these concerts and they get so many support from Bahamians, right? But you can't go in their country and do a concert. Well, they don't play Bahamian music on their radio stations.
I'll say this black crab syndrome we're dealing with. We've been dealing with this for a while. And our culture, I love my Bahamas. I wouldn't move nowhere else.
Me neither, girl.
But listen to me. You have to tell your family who they are. If it hurts, but our culture has become black crab syndrome for a while now. If they see you getting there, and I think because they was sent out and they adapt that mentality elsewhere. And so, I want to be able to make it first. You ain't gonna make it if I don't make it. So this system everywhere, it's not even in music industry only. Everywhere you go, if I ain't getting that, don't make sure she ain't get that. He ain't getting that, because if I ain't get that, he ain't gonna get that. Ain't nobody can be better than me. So this is the mentality that they're adopting, and it's sad. So I could be honest, I didn't even like our own music for so long.
When Rufus with me,
listen, I was like Bahamian music. I ain't never joined no band. Everything is rake and scrape. But when I, in your late, age, you start to be like, that was so authentic and creative storytelling, like those times of things what they're talking about. Man, that's the best days ever. Man, crab crawling, all of that stories, it's the best. And it's I love it now. I'm like, so they ain't talking foolish, they talking about the things we going through all that time.
Well, you know what? Remember I was saying being relatable, right? And you're saying having appreciation and all of that stuff. The music that the children are singing today are things that they definitely could relate to. Back in the day when those songs, Conk Bernardino and all of those were popular, they were also singing about things that were a bit relatable too as well. So maybe as you say, we need to get back into the storytelling stuff. Just like how you said, your music is basically touching on the things that you are currently going through. And if she's currently going through it, that means, there are others that are also going through it. So,
and that's why I said I don't want to stick to one genre. I love Bahamian music. The band is great, but let's do something different, because the things that they're listening to now is mostly rap. I love rap music, and I don't understand like the acoustic. No, I love rap music. I love it. But
slow that down.
I love all genres, jazz, all of it. So let's bring all of that and still tell a story. Why we can't just tell a story in all the genres relatable to them? Doesn't have to be all about break and scrape. But I agree with Rufus. They need to know who the forefathers are. You can't go to the States and say, child, I know Ronnie Butler, who that is.
Yeah.
Man, it's sad.
Because the Americans know who
they know who they are.
They can tell you
Jamaican know the Jamaicans.
Yes. They can tell you with Whitney Houston.
Haitians,
they
know.
Michael Jackson. Every child, a 5-year-old, could tell you can do the moonwalk.
Yeah.
You ask a 5-year-old in the Bahamas to master roach, They're looking for a real roach.
A real
They don't
roach.
understand. They don't know what
But
it
you don't
means.
see those dances no
You
more.
see?
You know
But
what I
Melody,
mean?
you said
I
something
know.
a few minutes ago that really hit me like a baseball.
I hope it was
You
positive.
said the music that our young people are listening to are relatable. Now, see, that could be good and bad
It's
because
bad,
the
unfortunately.
music that our young
It's
people
really
listening
bad.
to
It's really bad.
Yeah.
is nothing
They all
educational in there.
Why is it
It's
enough?
It's
7
nothing
p.m.
that teaches
Friday.
you emotional
Not a Friday.
intelligence. It's nothing that teaches you responsibility.
Mhm.
That's
It's
true.
nothing that teaches you accountability. All of the young women under
That's
the age
true.
of 19,
Are in
the
the
only
mass
thing some of
now.
them, not
Downtown.
all, because I know how the feminist movement go.
But
Let me
most-
correct that.
most.
A lot of them, the only thing they want to do is go on TikTok and do this. Everybody just mouth singing on TikTok, and you ask them a question, it's nothing up here.
It's true.
So everybody doing TikTok dance and all of this thing, and you ask them 10 times too, they can't tell you.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, a lot of them relating to stuff that is keeping them empty.
Yeah.
See, Exodus was established to fill them, to give them sense, to give them knowledge, to give them an identity. And we all know about how there was a civilization called the Moors. And the Moors actually civilized the whole world. But you don't know who the Moors are because our history was taken away from us.
Yeah.
Our history was erased. Everything was replaced. We was removed from our homeland, sent somewhere else, and brainwashed.
Yeah.
The religion that was given us was something else.
Yeah.
The food was something else. We are
Yeah.
totally oblivious
true.
to who we are, but we are descendants of kings and queens.
You ain't
And this is
lying.
what Exodus is all about, helping you to find your identity
Mhm.
as a Black person
That's awesome.
and uniting all people. That's what Exodus is about. It's about unity, it's about authenticity, and it's about evolving into the most outstanding version of your best authentic self.
It's
Well,
true.
I love that, and
It's
I've been
true.
watching Exodus for a minute. I'm still a part of Exodus. I don't care
Yeah,
what you
he's
say. I'm
definitely-
still a part of
Still a part of
Exodus. All right, so we
Exodus,
doing some big things
Yeah,
now.
hello.
Of course, you need some type of support there, you as well as Skye, whether
Yes.
it is collectively or individually. So let them know
Yes.
how they can reach out to Exodus, and followed by how they can reach out to you, Miss Skye.
Okay, well, we have several phone contacts. You can reach out to us on 447-5509 or 423-2432. You can also reach out to me on rfsemmanuel@gmail.com. I can't recall the two company emails right now, as we're spread at the moment. But the Exodus band performs at the Swag Bar and Restaurant on Fire Trail.
Yep.
We're there every Friday. The band starts at 9 p.m. So if that moment you've been waiting for all of your life, you need to come on Friday and experience that.
Yes,
Come
yes.
check it out.
And you, Miss Skye, how can they reach out to you personally? And don't forget these contacts. If you also want to support them financially, they do accept money. Okay, so
Yes,
once
yes.
again, Exodus Band is helping push all of the young artists that comes his way. He try to push them towards reaching their full potential, right? And reaching the international market. All right, Miss Skye, how can we reach you?
Well, you could reach me at the All Inclusive Band with Rufus.
Mhm.
And you could also reach me at Instagram, TikTok with Skye Empowered. That's SKYEEMPOWERED. You can find me there. You can click in my name on Facebook and you can listen to my music. Spotify, you can also find me there. You can email me at skye.lightenterprises
All right.
at gmail.com.
All right.
Melody, just to add to that, the Exodus Band is also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. All Exclusive Entertainment is the entertainment company that Exodus is under, and Exodus Production Company is the film production company. We will be producing film, sitcoms, movies. We have a lot of stuff coming out. We talking about movies. You think people hook on Netflix?
Yeah.
You ain't seen nothing yet until you see an Exodus movie. We got some stuff coming up in the making. I don't want to put no ideas out there for my
Excited.
listeners to be
Excited.
stealing.
Yeah.
Because you got some people sitting now with plenty of money waiting for me to say what it is.
Mhm.
No, you'll see it when it happens. But the Exodus Band is a part of Exodus Production Company and All Exclusive Entertainment, both companies owned by myself.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much once again. This is Rufus Emmanuel and Miss Skye Empowered
Yes,
right
yes.
here on Global 99.5 FM. Now, of course, we did not play any of your music during the live stream, but those of you that are interested in hearing her music, you can check her out on YouTube, or you can stick around right here at Global 99.5 FM. We're going to be playing it right after Chris Brown's Sensational, as we're having a sensational day with sensational people.
Yeah.